So March has been a really violent month on planet Earth and a month of bad behaviors, public bad behaviors, globally. But, speaking to the United States specifically, we are not coming together as a nation right now. And one of the things that those of us who want to have peace in our lives and want to have peace of mind can do to help ourselves kind of move forward from how things have been, especially the beginning of April is coming, and being that it is a new month and springtime is here, and definitely only going to get better and better in terms of those of us who live in a state where we have 4 seasons. We just love when spring rolls around. And for April, one of the things that can be very helpful is to move away from all of this drama, especially because we'll be able to get outdoors. Even though we come to our screens to get inspiration and peace and to communicate and to feel like we're not alone, there's a lot of things that are going on that are displays of bad behavior and violent behavior, and also behavior that is not characteristic. And there is bad behavior that's also being idolized, and you can see that in all of its glory online. And so once in a while we need a break from that. And one of the things that I think has happened in March, as we had more on the planet, and also just some examples of things that were unsettling, that really are just a display of the violence of the culture of mankind, and of humanity. And so that is very uncomfortable. And as we head into April, those of us who are looking for peace and peace of mind will need to sort of try to get away from all of that and be to ourselves without feeling guilty, and also without analyzing other people and their own behaviors. It's time to look inward. I know myself, I've spent a lot of time being angry about things I can't control, and that's where, as a collective, we each can evolve and really help each other out in taking a break from the complaining and trying to figure out who is in control of the things that we're mad about or the things that make us feel uncomfortable, or trying to figure out how to solve those things that are pretty unsolvable for just one person. And instead of, being loud online or even in our lives, our voice is getting lost in a sea of many. And I think the month of March really, as there's a war going on, there were so many other things happening and so many other distractions that were displays of negative, bad behaviors, and there aren't any heroes really emerging right now for mankind, and it's getting depressing. So you have people really acting out of character, and we have to cut everybody some slack on that and not take that personally, because there's been a lot of relationships that have ended where a person is saying, gosh, I thought, they really cared about me, and they just kind of like really just savagely or abruptly ended the relationship with no care for me whatsoever. With that in mind, that people are acting out of character, and it just seems like sometimes people who should be in control of their communication, their responses, their reactions, their professionalism, have just kind of gone off the deep end, or really acted out of character. And what is that all about? It is about the collective energy of all of us, and how just completely chaotic everything is in humanity right now, in our reality right now. It is not great. And everybody's feeling it. And we're making a lot of assumptions and taking things personally as a response to the chaos. And some of us are overanalyzing, some of us are shutting down. These are all coping skills. Right now, for people that can, it's best to head into this next month with getting some time away and some self-care and not worrying so much, and definitely maybe not being in the head so much about creating scenarios that aren't really occurring right, in our daily reality. If we can just handle ourselves within the day without unnecessary worrying, we may find energy and time to do something really great for ourselves, like rest, or do some exercise, or run an errand, or get something done at your house that you've been meaning to do that will make you feel productive once it's complete. There's so many things that we can do when we shut out all the chatter that is coming from what we perceive as the outside world. We let that chatter in, and then we do the same within our mind. We have a lot of excess chatter going on in there, a lot of thoughts that don't fit, a lot of conversations with people that we're not really having a in-person conversation with, but we think about what we want to say, will say, or would have said, and we think about that a lot. That's human behavior. So it's hard to overcome some of these human tendencies, but if we get time to go inward and to just focus on us and not overanalyze or focus on what we think is wrong with someone else around us that we know, or with people that we don't know, or with the world or society at large. If we just focus inward on what we are doing with our own reality and the things that we do have control over, and we, dedicate some time to appreciating what we have, complimenting ourselves for what we've done well, and also committing to growth and whatever that looks like, change and growth. Right now, change is the key word, because change is not going to stop happening on this planet, and some people find that very uncomfortable. So one of the things that we can do is just handle ourselves and what we can control and what we can change about ourselves, and that will make us feel more in control and less apt to act out in ways that are not characteristic and in ways that maybe set a bad example. And we have to be careful for when we're feeling great, because that's when we may just make a bad decision. And it's okay if we do. We might let something into our lives that isn't healthy if we're, doing really well, because we're not really as guarded about, falling into a state of anxiety or stress. And then sometimes we'll take things for granted, and life will, throw us a situation, it seems like a test. And if we don't pass every time, that's good, because we learn a lot more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. So we won't pass every time, but we can improve our responses, and we can improve the way that we handle ourselves, and we can improve on our own state of connectedness and our own state of realizing that we are all connected and we are all one, and we will need to have love and compassion for one another in order to survive as a species. Because Earth itself, it doesn't really matter to planet Earth what the conditions are, because wind, rock, fire, the planet itself is going to continue whether the conditions are okay for human beings to exist with and to coexist with, or whether it's conditions that human beings can no longer survive under. The planet is not at risk of anything. It's the life on the planet and the human population that is at risk of rendering itself extinct, which would be in the plan if that is what ends up happening. Or we could do that in a destructive way because we now have the technology and capability of that. So planet Earth is okay. Mankind needs to heal. And in order to heal and then eventually thrive as a human race together in a cooperative way, we have to address what's inside of us first. And so we have to stop being so judgmental about others and worrying about others and worrying about other circumstances besides our own personal growth and evolution. So the month of April could potentially be a lot better for us, those of us who are seekers and students of life and who want peace of mind on a chaotic planet. If we can get away from the drama and not get sucked into the superficial human bad behaviors that frustrate us, and we can just turn inward and start manifesting, our own personal growth, then we will inspire and we will feel better and we'll get that peace of mind while at the same time inspiring more people to be that way. So it's a win-win situation if we can get there. So just for those of us who are feeling like maybe March was weird, maybe the last 2.5 years, maybe the last 5.5 years have been just so bizarre. And we would love rest and reprieve from that. We do understand that right now, where the world is at, we can only find that within. And so hopefully we can all get to that and not take it personally if somebody has shut off to us or to the outer world, because we might be doing that too, and we wouldn't want other people to take that personally. Sometimes people do just need to go within and have their own time and space, and the outside world and the people in their life will have to be understanding of that because it is healthy. And so hopefully we can all do a little bit of that come April. But if you didn't feel okay in March, join the crowd. If you're just kind of exasperated by mankind and some of the behaviors and the things that we're seeing on our screens, join the crowd. But eventually we need to tune out to all of that. And, inspiring content is great, but when we go online, sometimes we just navigate back to the part of it where it's a mixed bag, and then we're exposed again to negative content, and there's a lot out there right now. So just be aware of that, and hopefully moving into April, those of us who really want some peace can find it. All right, that's all I have for today. Take care of yourselves. Spread love, keep shining, and we'll see you next time.